Hey guys, Brad here with Full Spectrum Survival. Just want to do a real quick update video and talk about Hurricane Irma. Hurricane Harvey just hit Texas. It sat there for a good long time, brought so many inches of rain, so much devastation, and so much flooding that a lot of people lost their homes. A lot of people lost all of their livelihood, and they're really stuck in a position where they are in real trouble. Hurricane Irma is now bearing down on Florida, where it's expected to make landfall on Sunday. And what can you and I do about it? This is a perfect example of why preparedness is so important. I posted a graph on Facebook this morning that showed the predicted path of Irma and how it has changed over time. How it went from pointing just towards the Caribbean to up towards the east side of Florida, now towards the west side of Florida, and kind of switch back and forth. There is no predicting of natural disasters. They are going to happen. Look at Mexico. We just had an 8.1 to 8.4 earthquake strike just 2 days ago with the offshoot of a solar flare. This is why preparedness is so important. Right now, the lanes out of Florida are inundated with people trying to get out. Evacuations, mandatory evacuations, are being ordered all over the state. People don't know what to do. They're stuck in this little bubble of everything's going to be okay because their entire lives are built upon dependency. Their entire lives are built upon the ability to always have access to water, always have access to sewer, always be able to cook their food. They do this because this is part of that society. This is part of the first world where you don't have to think for yourself. You go to your 40-hour-a-week job, sometimes your 60 to 80-hour-a-week job, and then at night you always have those amenities. And so what it does is it has created good slaves, good peasants of servitude. But these peasants of servitude suddenly become awakened to the fact that they have very little. They have no skills for survival, the skills that have brought humanity from the Dark Ages. They have no food on hand, no water on hand. I mean, look at just bottled water. People are fighting, threatening each other over bottled water. The most abundant resource on earth, and people are threatening themselves over it in a small bottle. Why is this happening? Because they are so ignorant to the fact that you can buy a Sawyer mini filter and filter yourself 100,000 gallons of water. And they're threatening each other and fighting each other and going and rushing to the stores over a 1-gallon bottle. This is why preparedness is so important, because if you just knew, if the people just knew, I know you guys watching know, but if the people just knew that if they would just learn how to go camping, they would have the skills to prepare themselves for a disaster. Think about it. If they were proficient in camping, then when mandatory evacuations were held, they wouldn't go into a shelter. They wouldn't become another, indoctrinated FEMA servant. They would just go out and take a trip out of state with their family and spend a couple of days camping. What would you rather have? If you were ordered to evacuate for whatever reason, an earthquake strikes, wildfires, tornado patch, whatever it is, what would you rather do? Would you rather go to a FEMA shelter where people are literally fighting over cots? Or would you rather gather up your family and just take another camping trip? Just take another trip. You enjoy yourselves in the woods, in a state away from the disaster. That is really all it takes. Become proficient with camping, and you'll know how to survive any disaster. You'll know how to filter your own water, start a wetwood fire, cook your own food, hunt and trap your own food, find wild edibles, patch yourself up with first aid. You'll know all of these things, and it will become just another enjoyable outing for you and your family. So I guess this is a little bit of a public service message just to let people know that this is what happens to society when a disaster strikes. It is sudden panic, sudden awakening of, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm so afraid. I see people saying it all over social media. I'm so afraid. You wouldn't be afraid if you had some food stores on hand, if you knew how to go camping, if you paid more attention to the skills that have brought us as humans out of the Dark Ages than to what was happening on social media, or than to what was happening, with a movie star. you wouldn't be so afraid. Fear is what causes a disaster to turn into a catastrophe. If you know somebody who is stuck in the pathway of Hurricane Irma, and I do, my wife and I, we left from where the hurricane warning zone is. West coast of Florida, we left from there. I still have family there. We both do. If you know somebody who's in the path, maybe this message will help them. Let them know that for the next disaster, they don't have to be afraid. Learn how to go camping. Because me, I enjoy going camping. My entire family does. My son was sitting out here in the woods in a cot yesterday just because he wanted to relax and look at the trees. This is enjoyable to us. If you know how to go camping, you can survive a disaster. Take the fear away from disaster preparedness. Being prepared, being a homesteader, a prepper, a survivalist, whatever you want to call it, take the fear away from it and begin to prepare today if you're not already on top of your game. From Kelly and I to you and yours, stay safe and keep watch.